Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We had a good amount of people sign up, so I'm gonna give them a minute more to go ahead and log in. But for those of you who are already here, welcome. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I am Dr. Zipporah Levy Shackelford, Dr. Z, and I am the founder and the behavior consultant for Creative Approach Development Center. We also have here on the panel tonight, Creative Approach Development Center's program manager, Michaela Jackson, who will be monitoring the chat. And we have our phenomenal presenter here tonight, Sandra Thompson. Um, Before I introduce Sandra, who I'm so excited to hear this presentation from her because I know it's one of her top topics and she's my go-to for information on this. I wanted to share some info about Creative Approach Development Center. So we are in Richmond, Virginia, and we provide behavioral supports and training focused on individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as those with mental health challenges and diagnoses. We provide individual supports, family caregiver supports, and then professional development for medical providers, educators, and organizations that either support those with those diagnoses or are interested in just learning how to make their environment more accessible and welcoming for the diverse needs of individuals with disabilities and mental health diagnoses. So I welcome you to check out our website if you haven't, creativeapproach.com and creativeapproachonline.com. And Michaela, can you just put that in the chat for us real quick? Thank you. You are here tonight for one of our programs, which we call the Caregiver Series. And this is a free program or resource intended for family members, caregivers of individuals with disabilities and diverse needs, but everyone is welcome. We have these free webinars every month on the last Thursday of the month from 6:30 to 7:30. So this month we are focusing on teaching our teens and adults how to become more independent by further developing their different life skills. And again, this topic will be presented by Sandra Thompson. And each month, if you go to the website, you'll see the schedule, and we have different presenters most of the time, as well as myself or Michaela that present on the different topics. So we welcome you all to join us for upcoming webinars and also just, stay in touch for any other events or trainings that we may have. So, as a little housekeeping, again, we have the chat. We also have the Q&A. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat box or the Q&A. I do have it set where anything that you type will come straight to us. So, because I know sometimes people may have a question that's a little bit more personal. So, that allows you to share a little bit more of those details without the entire audience seeing that. So, hopefully, if you have a question, you feel comfortable with entering it in the chat. If you enter it in the Q&A, that's fine. We will see that as well. But feel free to use those to get your questions and comments through. Also, if you need any assistance with the audio, we do have closed captions available. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you should see an option that says show captions. If you do not see it right now, click on that more wording, and there's a circle with three little dots. It's probably hidden in there. And with the show caption, once you click on that, you can control how your captions look as well as which language you need them in. So just wanted to share that with you. So now we will officially get started. So, again, for tonight's topic, we are talking about building independence by focusing on the life skills for our teens and adults. And this discussion will be led by Sandra L. Thompson, who is the founder of Sandra L. Thompson and Associates. She's a family empowerment coach and a best-selling author. And we will also be including her website in the chat box for everyone to check out as well. So without further ado, I am going to hand it over to Sandra.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Z, for inviting me to be able to share my knowledge and tips with the audience here tonight. I'm really excited about offering this information. This is one of my topics that I'm really passionate about, and I also um, are contacted to coach based on this topic. Um, as she stated, I'm a family empowerment coach. I offer parent coaching to parents within the special needs community. That could be just whether it be having a listening ear, needing guidance to reclaim your joy, helping your child, teen, adult to improve their life skills as well. I do coaching for teens and adults and specifically work on like executive functioning, um, time management, and improving their life skills as well. So I'm really excited about being here. Today, as I stated, we will be talking about building independence. And having independence is very important. And within that, what is happening? Oh, I'm going to offer 5 tips to foster independence. The 5 tips will include self-confidence, self-advocacy, daily living skills, teamwork, and organization. Okay. Um, I'm going to touch base on each of them. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put that in the chat and I'll answer your questions um, later on. Okay. So the first one we will address is self-confidence. I put this one first because whether you have a disability or not, self-confidence is key for being successful in anything that you do. Okay? So self-confidence is the better, sorry, I'm sorry, I have a cough tonight. So please excuse me. Self-confidence is the belief in your abilities and qualities. Okay? Um, it's about you believing in yourself and for you as a teen or an adult to believe in yourself, regardless of what others may tell you, especially if those things are negative. And us, if there are any parents in the group tonight on the webinar, it's up to us to feed positivity into our children, regardless of their age, as well, because that takes them to the next step in their lives and carries them on the journey as they move forward. Self-confidence is when you have confidence in yourself and you are more likely to be productive, successful, and present. So it's not on here, but I want to work with you at this moment and to do some affirmations. I'm going to say them and you say them to yourself. Okay? I am brave. I am successful. I am confident. I can do anything. If I believe it, I can do it. If I see it, I believe it. Okay? Whenever approaching any situation in life, it's always best to just take a step back and say, okay, where's my confidence level in this? And if you are not sure of the shore of yourself, it's best for you to take a moment and help yourself get there by some positive self-talk. Okay? Because that's what's going to take you in the journey to address that self-advocacy, teamwork, being able to complete those challenging daily living skills, being able to work in an environment that may be stressful or where you stand out. So self-confidence gets you in from day to day. Okay? Are there any questions about that? Comments?
Not right now. I think everybody's working on those affirmations.
All right, that's what I love to hear. I love it because that positive self-talk will make you, it will just really just boost you up to be able to do anything that you set your mind to. It's not going to be easy to be able to go through it. The journey is not always going to be easy. But if you remain positive and just believe in yourself, you can weather the storm, as they say. Okay? So just always remember that. Oh, why is this not? All right, we're going to move into self-advocacy. Self-advocacy means speaking up for yourself and making decisions about your life. The key words here are yourself and your. It has nothing to do with anybody else but yourself. Okay? So remember that. Self-advocacy is speaking up for yourself, not for the next person. It's for you. And to self-advocate, you need to know your rights. Okay? You have the right to speak up. You have the right to be included. You have the right to be involved. You have the right to ask for help and make decisions. Know your rights. But most of all, you have the right to speak up and to be included. Never allow anyone to tell you that you cannot participate or that your voice is not important, because it is. Express your needs and feelings. Your feelings are your feelings. Nobody can tell you how to feel. It's okay to feel whatever you feel. And your needs. Everybody have different needs. So that means your needs are your needs. So if you need something, you speak up. Excuse me. You speak up and let it be known, whether it be to your parents, your coworkers, another family member, maybe you have a coach. You can have a buddy or neighbor. Express yourself. And another thing, ask for help. Speak up when you need help. It's okay to ask for help. Some of us are really strong-willed and don't want to be told what to do, or don't want someone else helping us because we may feel that we're not independent. Asking for help is actually a very positive thing to do because it shows that you are willing to be better, greater, and you want to know what's happening, whether it be an event or you just want to know what's happening with yourself. Ask for help. If you don't understand something, it's okay. Ask for help. And if you ask one person and you don't get the answer that you are expecting or feel that you are okay with it, go to the next person. And if that happens again, go to the next person. Don't stop speaking up until you find the answer that is okay with you. But just be mindful. Just because the answer is not okay with you doesn't mean that it's not a correct answer. It could be a correct answer, and you have to be okay with that correct answer. Okay? It's kind of agree to disagree. All right? Stand up for yourself. Don't allow anybody to push you around, meaning don't allow anybody to tell you what to do when it's not good for you. If it is something that could be a threat or hurt you or hurt someone else, speak up. Self-advocate. Excuse me. Self-advocate for yourself. Speak up and say, no, I don't want that. If there's a decision that's being made for you and you are at a legal age to be able to make that particular, because sometimes age has a factor in decisions. So if you are at that age, speak up for yourself. No, I don't want that for me. I don't think that's a good idea for me right now. I will do that, yet let's look at this because I would possibly want to do that. Okay? So speak up and let your voice be heard to others. All right. Are there any questions or comments before I move on?
Well, I don't know. One question that we have is how can you teach that to your child or loved one?
Okay.
How,
Yes.
because sometimes, like you were talking about, um,
Excuse me.
compromising, and that can be hard. Sometimes we don't
Mm-hmm.
like hearing no. So, what are some suggestions when working on this skill that you may have for helping to be okay with those no's?
Okay. Yes, that's a very good question. Um, the first thing I suggest is role play. Make them realistic scenarios that actually may have happened within your family or your circle with the person that you want to teach this with. Create scenarios based, realistic scenarios, and point out how they could have said this or could have said something a different way or how to express themselves. You can do it like that through role play. Or you can play, create a game of bingo. I've done this in the conference before. You play a game of bingo and you create a bingo card and you put different things about self-advocacy on it. And then you get to role play that as well, but it's in a game form, so it's fun. Like, so for example, B1, B1 could be stand up and say, I am brave confidently. And they would have to, when that card is called, they would have to stand up and practice. It would be practice, but it'd be in a fun way. And they'll stand up, I am brave, and they'll, if it's in a fun way, they'll act the part more realistically. And then when real situation happens, you remind them of that game and say, remember when you said such and such confidently? I need you to do that right now with this person because sometimes they're shy, um, and don't want to speak up for themselves, or they'll try to get another adult to speak up for them. And most times the adults actually do it when they really should be coaching them to say, I know that you want me to speak for you, but I know you can do it. I will help give you the words, but I want you to be the one to say it. So, like, for example, if somebody, if there's a team that's having a conflict with a classmate or a teacher, and they may share it with the parent, and then what you would do is you would give them the words to say to that other individual as well. Um, and then also another way, like if you go out to dinner with an individual that usually is kind of quiet, and that yes, they may order the same thing all the time, but you're ordering it for them, let them start doing it. That's them getting practice of speaking up and having their voice heard. And those are just three tidbits that, has been very successful with my parents and adults that I have worked with as
Yeah,
well.
I
And at
really
the
like
end,
those
my email
ideas.
address will be at the end. And if you email me and say, "Hey, Sandra, I saw your webinar," I'll send you the bingo card. Okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Trying to navigate, sorry. Excuse me. All right, daily living skills. This is one of my, oh, I love this one, and I really, really advocate for this one. Daily living skills help individuals take care of themselves, their home, and their responsibilities. Every, every person, regardless of age, ability, they should be working on some type of daily living skill. Even if they are only able to blink their eyes because of their other disabilities, that's a skill by communicating. Communication is also a living skill, daily living skill, which I should have put on here, but I did not. Daily living skills are very essential to being independent. Okay? However, these four factors on the screen are very essential. You must be willing to learn, listen, and try. Because if you're willing to learn, you're able to successfully at your own ability level of ability to complete tasks, engage in activities, and the ultimate thing is you'll be proud of your own progress. You must be able to listen. Listen not just by the fact that you can hear with your ears, but the point of being told how to complete tasks, because tasks need sometimes for some individuals need to be broken down into small steps. So you have to be able to be patient and listen to what's being said to you, and then be able to put it into action. Don't think that you just know it, because we all don't know it all. We all are learning, and then you must be willing to try. Yes, things are unfamiliar, but you have to still give it a try, because you might realize that you really like it and you're good at it. Okay? So be willing to learn a new skill, to listen to whoever is going to teach you these skills, and be willing to try to show that you are capable. Okay. This one, if there are any coaches or even parents in the group, um, break task into steps. I get a lot of parents that tell me, I tell my kid, my adult, the teen, just I say my kid because they're all kids, you know. But go clean your room. And then when I go in there, everything is still everywhere. I don't understand. I told them to go clean their room. Yes, you did. However, they're overwhelmed. All the stuff is overstimulating them and they don't know where to begin. So what you have to do is break it up into steps and teens and adults, you can do this for excuse me, you can do this for yourself as well, where you say, okay, I'm going to clean my bedroom. I'm going to first pick up the shoes and put them away. That's your first task. You put on your next step will be pick up all the clothes off the floor. Then your next step will be hang them up or put them in the laundry basket because whatever's clean, hang it up or put in your dresser drawer. Whatever's dirty, put it in your basket. The next step could be change your sheets. And sometimes changing your sheets need to be broken down too. Pull off the blanket, pull off the top sheet, pull off the bottom sheet, and then you have the steps to remake the bed. Put on the fitted sheet, put on the top sheet, put on the blanket. So, with breaking them down into steps, it just makes it much more easier and not so overwhelming. And for parents, it's not as frustrating because you already know it's going to be broken down into steps. So you're more patient. Hands-on learning. Hands-on learning is very important. That's practice. So teens and adults, you cannot be expected to know how to do something without being taught. So if your parent or someone you live with says, um, why'd you fold the sheets like that? Or why'd you fold the towel? Or why'd you put the ketchup in the refrigerator? Some people don't. You're only doing what you know to do for yourself. But if your parent or your guardian, your coach, or whomever um, is with you does not specifically tell you, oh, well, this goes here, this goes there, put this first. You don't know. You're only doing what you know. So, parents, guardians, coaches, hands-on learning. You have to teach them in order for them to know. Okay. Safety first. Always remember, safety is first. Um, we do not turn on stoves and light matches. Um, we make sure we lock the doors behind us. We don't let strangers in. Um, we make sure that we turn off the stove when we're done. Okay, if there's a spill on the floor, we clean it up. So always look at your space and ask yourself, is this a safe place? Or what's out of place that I need to replace to be a safe place? Okay. All right. Any questions, comments?
We do have a question. So the question is, at 21 now, my child doesn't respond to mom or dad the same as in the recent past. Teaching new things, no matter how broken down, is not typically possible. Are we at a place where we just need to bring in someone from the outside to address and refine the skills present?
Okay, good question. Um, I would suggest two things. One, possibly a reset in the sense of um, not tell them what to do, like give it a week and not tell them what to do. Let them do what they're going to do. Okay, as long as it's not a safety hazard, let them do what they're going to do. The two things need to happen. You need to get off their back, and you need to calm and recenter so that when you do come back together, there's peace and harmony, and that cloud and fog and lack of communication is broken some. Will it could be completely gone? No, but I think the first step is for you both, all of you, both of you, to take a break from each other of telling them what to do and how to do it. Okay, I think that's the first step. The second step, well, actually, three things. The second step I would suggest is for you to allow your child to create their own list of daily living skills. Okay, you don't want me to tell you, you don't want me to break it down for you. I'm going to allow you to do it. Okay, what's important to you? It could be laundry, it could be making up the bed, it could be vacuuming, it could be walking the dog. Find out what's important to them. And then you ask them, so how are we going to do this? And let them tell you the steps. More than likely, they know, it's just that they don't want you telling them, you know? And then the next thing, if those two things don't seem like it's working, I say yes. Seek outside help support, outside support.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. All right. Oh, is that? Oh my goodness. Time goes fast. All right. Teamwork. Teamwork is about working together as a group to achieve a common goal. Okay. So, teamwork. These are some things that you need to work together. That needs to work together in order to be a good team player. One, you need to look and watch. Watch your surroundings, look what other people are doing, because it could be that um, you're not unsure of what to do and you're not sure about asking yet. But look and watch. Always use your eyes. If it's a challenge for you to make eye contact, it's okay. You don't have to make eye contact, but just be very observant around the area of where you are. Be willing to listen to others because you may be given instructions on how to do this job, and it's important for you to listen so that you know what is expected of you. Be willing to share your ideas. If you have a thought about something, share it with your team players, your teammates. Be willing to share it. They may accept your suggestion, they may not. However, self-advocate, speak up for yourself. Work together. Um, Working together, that means coming together to make sure that goal is achieved. It may be times when you may not like that person or some people on your team for whatever reason, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is to achieve that goal. So you push past all the negativity and make the goal achievable by being involved. Always be kind to your team players. Okay? Being working in a team is not always easy. However, it can be very positive because you build relationships with others. You get to learn about other people's interests and strengths, and you get to share about yourself as well. And be surprised at how many things you may have in common with someone else. Always, always, always do your best. Okay, you always show up the best. Do your best of the best. Always, excuse me, always always remain positive about it. And through the positivity and self-confidence, you'll do your best. Remain calm. Sometimes the environment can be very stressful, meaning it could be loud, it could be a lot of people, sometimes it may be too quiet. But just remain calm. If you need a break, express that you need a break. Speak up for yourself. I need a break. Or I need headphones. I need to step away. Whatever it is that you need to help you remain calm and ready to work, that's what you do. Any comments or questions about that? Excuse me. No?
I
Okay.
couldn't find the mute button, sorry.
Oh,
Do you have tips for helping to teach, like taking turns? Because I think that's something that can often be a challenge. And I know that's an important part of teamwork. So do you have any um, strategies that you suggest on, like, for the first step, teaching how to take turns or like giving?
um, yes. Good question. My go-to are always board games. Board games such as Connect Four, excuse me, Connect Four, Sorry, um, Trouble. They have different levels of matching games. I would say games, back and forth with games. It could be building a marble maze. It could be building a Lego tower as well. You pull off their interests and you make it into a game. That's the best way to teach it.
Okay,
I
cool.
always tell I always tell people if you make it fun, you're more than likely to keep the person engaged and they will learn the skill.
I like that. Rather than making it into like a traditional lesson.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Yep. And you can create your own little game. You can make it fun if you get like what those things called? Toothpicks and marshmallows, and you take turns building the creation, adding the piece to it, even the marble maze, you take turns adding the piece to it, and then you get to talk about, okay, well, is this going to work for the marble to go down? Or you can get popsicle sticks and cups and see who can, how we can build up the tallest tower by working together. It can get very creative. You just have to be very creative about it. Okay. Organization. This is our last tip for this evening. Organization is about being structured, consistent, and using visual supports. Okay. Structured routines. It is so important to have routines because the expectation and the knowing of what is next is a critical aspect of the end and productivity and involvement and engagement. Because when it is a structured routine, things flow. Yes, things happen to can throw routine off, but I always tell my parents, if you are off by the second day, I tell my teens this too. If you're off by the second day, it's time for you to do what you need to do, get back on routine. It's not, oh, well, we done missed 2 days. Excuse me. Oh, we done missed 2 days. Oh, this is not going to work. No, pick back up and keep it going. Because the longer you allow the routine to be broken, the more unstructured, unpredictable events are going to happen, which could trigger unwanted behaviors and anxiety. Okay, so create a structured routine, even if you have to write it out. Decide, okay, in the morning when I get up, this is what I'm going to do. This, then this, then that. The afternoon, then this, then that. If you don't need a whole day, and you just need the afternoon after dinner, this is what I do before bed. And you map it out like that. Okay? So come up with a routine for things that you feel that you are not able to be organized about, and then also have designated places for things. Um, just be very purposeful of where you place things, where things have a home. Everything should have a home. So create those spaces, shoes by the door. That's where it goes. When you come in the house, you take your shoes off, and this is where they go. Once you get in the house and take your shoes off, you have your bag. Okay, this is where my bag go. Oh, I take out my water bottle and put it here, so I remember to fill it up. Have a designated space for everything so that when you need it, you know where to find it. That's important because especially, we have a get in the habit of we put something down and like, oh my goodness, where it is. I know my daughter always said, Mom, I don't know where I put, well, where does it belong? Well, it's not there. Well, if you would put it there, then we won't have to look for it. She said, I know you're going to find it though, because you always find things. Well, because I already know where you may put it, you know. But everything should have a designated home. Visual schedules. It is okay to have a visual schedule. Okay? No matter how old you are, what your ability level is, it is okay to have a visual schedule. And the visual schedule does not have to be only pictures. It can be a textual schedule where you just writing out words. Okay, and that's just a helpful reminder for you to remember what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Okay, use your visual supports if it's going to set you up for success. Okay, all right. We've come to the end.
Wow, I know. I going back to the structured routine.
Excuse me.
Do you have suggestions or ideas that you can share when things change? Like I know for the different schools in this area, next week is spring break, which is going to kind of, change the way the daily schedule. And that a lot of times can throw a person off. And then once they adjust, it's time to go back to school and get back on that other schedule. So, do you have ways to work around that to make it a little bit easier? And then the same in the summertime with the summer schedule and all of that too.
Yes, those breaks can be very challenging, especially the short breaks. Because like you said, they're out and they get into the routine of being out, and then it's like, oh, we're back. Um, I always suggest to my parents that to start at least 2 weeks in advance, at least talking about it. And over that 2 weeks, incorporate something that will help occupy their time. So Like for example, I introduced busy bags to a parent. And it may sound, pretty elementary, but it's really not. It doesn't have to be an actual bag. It can be a tub where it can be a tub of Legos. And every night they can, or day, they can create, add on to their creation. So it's like creating a leisure schedule that's going to fill their day if you don't have vacation planned. So over that 2 weeks, your every day is introducing some type of activity. Don't give them the whole activity, but a teeny bit of it just to kind of give them a little taste of the activity so that during like spring break, they can enjoy the full thing. And then they're so excited, like, oh my goodness, kind of like that for the short breaks like that. As far as like routine, I would say talk about it a lot. And when they seem dysregulated, acknowledge their feelings. I understand that your routine is off. You're not going to school this week. Um, But, ask them what they want to do if they're able to communicate that. If they're not, you know what makes them happy. So do more of what makes them happy. However, stick with your routine. They get up the same time as if they were at school. If they nap the same time. The snacks are the same time, and most dinner times the same, bedtime's the same. Don't change that. Just change the activities within those time frames because you still want them to be on schedule, especially just for these week or 2 week breaks. Like Christmas break, holiday, they call it winter recess. During those times, still keep the same routine except for like Friday and Saturday nights. They can stay up later. But other than that, keep the same routine because it would just make your life so much easier.
I agree. That's an
Eh,
awesome tip. Yeah.
yes, keep it the same. During summer, just pick and choose which routines that you would like. I still say, honestly, wake up and bedtime should still remain the same. Maybe push bedtime back. They can go to bed an hour later and maybe wake up an hour later, but no more than that. Don't let them sleep until 11 or 12 o'clock. No, because it makes it harder for when they are got to transition back into the routine. And then over the summer, um, excuse me, designate learning time. Yes, the summer is supposed to be fun, but designate, even if it's just 15 to 30 minutes every day, where they sit, whether they're coloring, reading a book, doing an educational, working on an educational app, something to kind of keep them a little into routine of learning. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. And we have time for one more. And in the chat, we have, oh, hold on, it just moved down. Hold on, because that was a really good one. So this is talking about dignity of risk. It says dignity of risk is such a great concept and is needed to try so many things. How do you go about discerning when to build in some safety nets while allowing someone dignity of risk? How do you know if it's baby steps or if it's baby steps with accommodations?
I would say, good question.
Mm-hmm.
I would say first consider their ability, the level of um, comprehension, and their level of being able to advocate for themselves, speaking up and stuff. Those are the three things that I think that you should consider to determine which one it may be. And that's that question. It's really so it's a sensitive question because it could be answered in so many different ways. So I would safely say consider those three things and really take a step back and evaluate and say, okay, if I was to say it this way, they would likely respond that way.
Mhm.
If I would say it this way, they're likely to respond that way. So you would have to really think about it closely and look at it and say, okay, this is what it may be. Does that make sense?
Right, right. All right. Well, you covered a lot in a short time. And I know I appreciate all this really good information. I know I said that was the last question, but I just thought of something, and this may be helpful for the audience as well. When you decide as a family that it might be time to bring in a coach, what are some of the things to look for? Because I think we're in a time where, if you Google it, lots of people may pop up. But how do we make sure we're getting that Sandra Thompson quality?
By just calling me. Um, well, to decide if your family needs coaching is that you have tried the things that you know how to try, you know, that you thought would work for your family and it's just not working. And you feel that you just feel overwhelmed that you can't do it alone anymore. You know, that's when you reach out to me. Um, and if you did decide to read, before you decide to reach out, um, ask yourself, am I coachable? Am I really willing to invest my time into putting in the work? Because some families want to coach, but they're not willing to put in the work to overcome the challenges that they have. So that's something to really consider before you even see whether it's me, myself or anybody else. Are you willing to put in that work?
Right,
Because it's a true investment in yourself and in your family to take that step to seek outside support to make things happen. Um, I've worked with many families with various disabilities. I even do marital coaching
right.
um, as well, just to, so that both parents are on the same page and how they approach things with their children, and not only just with their children, with each other. You
Mhm,
know, um, it's a challenge to have a child with a disability and or children, some have multiples,
mhm.
and maintain a healthy relationship that includes good communication, time together with each other, um, and just remain, over time people change. So sometimes you have to have the hard conversations, and it's sometimes good to have a person that can hear you out and respect both sides, and it'll help you see each other's side so that you both can get back on the same page
Right.
as well. So I do a lot of that as well. Yes. So,
Awesome. And you said, did you have a slide that has your email
oh
address?
yeah, I
Go ahead and
do.
get that out there. So if you have any additional questions, or if Sandra shared something that you would like to get more information on, this is all of her contact info. We shared her website in the chat a couple of times, but highly recommend reaching out and getting in touch, because she's great. She's very wonderful with seeing what your family needs and then developing that specific plan
Yeah.
and pairing you up with the right tools. So it's definitely not a one size fits all approach.
Definitely
So
not.
yeah. And on that note, I want to thank everybody for signing up and for joining us. Again, this is part of our Caregiver Series, which is the free webinars that we host every last Thursday of the month. So for April, the date will be April 24th, the same time, 6:30 to 7:30. And we will be focusing on caring for the caregiver because we do so much giving that
Mhm.
we often forget to take care of ourselves. So we will be having that discussion, and we will have Miss Tina Thompson of Peetsie, Virginia, joining us for that discussion. And you can find that information on our website, creativeapproachonline.com. So again, thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Get some good rest tonight, and we will see you next month. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.